I personally don't know I Sombath. But anything happened in Laos is my passion, emotions, given to the fact that I am a Lao native. My mother tongue is Lao, I speak Lao, I read Lao, I have many friends in Laos. When I got an email alert from the friends who used to know, who knows I Sombath, I just pick up the phone call to Vientiane, to all whoever I know, including colleague and comrade in Foreign Ministry of Laos, happened up, hey, you know what happened with Mr. Sombath, I Sombath, or whatever, you know that. Many of them in the Foreign Ministry at first, I think on Monday I called. He said, no, we don't know. We are busy with the university games in Vientiane, something like that. I said, wow, he's very known, but you don't know. Just happened to ask again, in any senior official in this ministry have known anything about the incident. On Tuesday I called again to the same person. I think he's supposed to be senior in that office, in that ministry. He happened to say the same thing. We don't know. We have no information. It's too early to say anything at this moment about this case. It might be take time to find out what happened with that man. Fine, no problem. I just get and write a story that Lao authorities try to at least were not aware of the fact that some people disappear from the tiny capital city of Vientiane. I think Laos is really, really little, small countries, and almost every country in that corner, they know each other. People who happen to disappear from somewhere, I think people we know rapidly, maybe in Laos that we already know where you go. Laos, I think human rights, as we talk today, is not a taboo issue in Laos society exactly. Today, after the disappearance of I Sombath, you know that minister as president office, Phongsavat Bupha, called a meeting, a guidance committee for human rights affairs in that country, to listen to the reports of the practice, progress on whatsoever that Laos has obligated to do as a contacting party of them. So far, Laos has entered 7 out of 9 international instruments on human rights. But we can say that including all the UN one and the ASEAN one, including Laos, also the member of ASEAN, it has a representative in the ASEAN. Fortunately, unfortunately, those who represent Laos as a representative to the ASEAN, he's a person, he's a Thai person who very know him very well. He's a deputy foreign minister. But I think practice of the human rights in Laos, something like out of date, something like I think we can date back to really long ago. Secret arrest, kidnap, abduct, arrest, taking place time to time in that countries. Perhaps those who monitor situation in this country, Laos is not something like country in the tourist postcard. There is many things happen in that countries. Something even happens in the border, along the border, in the border with Thailand. I will give you some case. The recent murder to Dr. Somok in Nong Khai. There's something related to the Lao politics. The assassination to Mr. Sisuk in Sirinthorn, Ubon Ratchathani, is something has connection with the political situation in Laos. The case happened even in Thailand under surveillance of Thai authority. Believe it or not, until now we don't know exactly what happened with those things and what the progress of the progress. Some say these people were assassinated and killed, murdered. He's a dissident. who happened to criticize the government strongly over the past time. That has happened since 1975 after the revolution. The reform in 1986 that bring what we call inภาษาลาว is จินตนาการใหม่ innovation, new economic mechanism, what whatsoever it came. But it did not bring a real จินตนาการใหม่ or new thinking into that countries. It also failed to bring what the new societies on the openness of the society to our practice. The state apparatus, I think there has some problem when dealing with what we call the difference. The different idea, different perspective, or different mind from the government is the Lao government authorities or state apparatus. I think they have some problem to dealing with, and their handling is very uncivilized from my point of view. Well, the elite in Laos, young or old, remain their same old attitude, like they just finished a revolution yesterday. What's happened in Laos? Something like there's a political discord in this country. You still believe it or not? The term like Patikan or reactionary counter-revolutions, and something like creating non-nang Patikan. It means creating or implant the embryo of the counter-revolutionary elements. It still is a political discourse we use in Laos like that. To I Sombath work as we training youth, he might be accused by anybody in that country of implanting an embryo of counter-revolutionary elements in that country. That's a very serious accusation to the person in that country that Lao could be made. It still happens in this country. Even these, our neighbor, our lovely neighbor, something like whenever I laugh, I feel like home. This still happen in this country, although this country entered a decade of the 21st century or like many others. The reform in Laos that happened maybe 20 years ago already, it doesn't make things change too much in that country. Laos reformed many legal instruments, mechanism many times over the past decades, but it's never installed what we call the principle of rule of law in that countries. Transparency is very difficult to see in that country. You can ask them, any official of Laos, you call them what something happened, they will say very simple word to you, I don't know. Perhaps I have no information really. Don't ask the Ministry of Information because they don't have information for you. What's the way to ask? Foreign Ministry may have some due to the influence or powerful of the minister, his deputy prime minister as well. So they may have something to say to you, but in very cautious manner, it's very careful to say to you or something. The officials still, I think they don't know actually how to practice, how to dealing with the situation, maybe sometimes in difficult situation. When the society is open to all everything, but the practice in the state apparatus, state mechanism in the country is still almost the same that we have seen in the 70s and 80s, perhaps. Transparency is something like very difficult to spell out in that country as well. We don't know who went missing, how to get the way. Is it possible to see that person even they announced that they were arrested? It's not easy to say that. The prison, like some K or somewhere, is still well known as well as that it could create a fearful situation in that country as well when you mention that some K or somewhere that. Well, in case of Sombath happened in the circumstance, I don't know exactly what happened. It is perhaps for me as a journalist, I cannot make it clear that whether he was kidnapped, whether he was arrested, but look at what we see in the video clips from the CCTVs might be that circumstance that happens is the belief that the state apparatus, state agency, or whatsoever it will be involved, or at least it's happened under the eye or under the nose of the official. It's very strange. I mean, to every country like this, to say that the person who were taken away near a police outpost, and the authorities say that we don't know about that. It's very strange, but it happened in that countries. So I think it is maybe it's very difficult to rule out that maybe state apparatus, state authority did not know, did not involve in that situation, in that circumstance. Sombath's background and his work trying to create this, I think, from the view, is uncomfortable situation for the officials and the authorities in Vientiane, particularly the elite, the conservative elite in the parties. It might be feel uncomfortable with his job, right, trainings, or his background to associate with the United States. But given to the fact that I think this relation between Vientiane and Washington is will get very well, it's go very well. So one accusation made in Vientiane currently say that perhaps his connection to the U.S. might be lead to his disappearance. I don't buy this theory, but Saudi, the other job, his training, and he involved in many development or criticized many developments of the Laos projects might be create difficulty for him. The point I want to make in conclusion that I think fine if Sombath did something wrong under the law of the country. Of course, I am not a journalist who always dedicate for human rights. I don't mind if some person did something wrong and he was arrested. But in case of Sombath, I think if he did something wrong, the state authorities shall openly prosecute him, charge him, or whatsoever in a civilized manner. So the way that whoever handles Sombath in that way, I think is very uncivilized. And it is for Laos, the country who now open and more open to global village, international community, also Laos a member of all things. Laos just hold the ASEAN meetings, the big ever that country has ever deal with. Laos used to be the chairman of ASEAN. Laos, whatever the international take place, also Laos involved. I think this is a time in 21st century that this country has to have a new practice for whatever you think the problem in the country, which should be dealt in civilized manner, and perhaps this new world that we account to the rule of law is the main principle that we can say. Thank you.